The story begins with a girl named Marianna Rottenclaw, who was a count's daughter. She was face to face with her fiancé, Prince Alexis, who was looking at Marianna with nothing but disappointment. He told her that she had harassed Lady Elena, and even went for her life. Marianna begged and pleaded, but he did not listen. He told Marianna he could not be her fiancé. Marianna was taken away by the guards. For eternity she should have been the one by His Highness's side, but standing next to him was Elena. Marianna could not stand it. Suddenly there was a blast. Alexis called out that it was a magic rampage. He called for Marianna to come back to her senses, but everything went black. Suddenly Marianna heard voices calling her name. She opened her eyes to find herself at her desk. Her maid who had been calling her name told her not to move so suddenly. She told Marianna she was having a nightmare, and her face had become completely pale. The maid looked at Marianna's messy desk and saw some magic stones. The ones Marianna made were powerful and top quality, but her maid reminded her that if she was tired to the point she fell asleep at work, she should rest. The maid offered Marianna some tea, and Marianna agreed with a forced smile. When the maid had left, she looked at herself in the mirror. This face? It was different from her usual face, but one she recognized. And her name? She figured that she had been born into the world of the novel. In her previous life there was a novel that she loved. Its title was The Healing Maiden Protected by the Devoted Prince. In that story, eye color reflected how strong a person's magic was, and after awakening her powers, the heroine fights through countless ups and downs and ends up with the prince. And she, Marianna Rottenclaw, was the villainess who died. She began to sweat, remembering her fate. Harassment, then condemnation. That dream just now was the scene where she was condemned and her magic went out of control. Even with her past life memories, right now she was Marianna, which meant that she had already messed things up with the heroine. But still, the villainess's side of the story was not in the novel, so she wondered if there was some reason she went that far. Suddenly, the door burst open, and two men walked in, asking Marianna what she was doing. One of the men was Marianna's father, Count Daniel Rottenclaw. He told her he needed powerful magic stones, ones only she could make. He said that if she did not want that woman to steal His Highness from her, she needed to train, and that was what would lead Marianna to her own happiness. Marianna knew that it all started with this man. Originally, it was customary for those with strong magic to marry into the royal family. Because her eyes held such fierce magic, everyone always said that she would be the future crown princess. But once the heroine with even stronger magic appeared, everything changed. Now her panicked father could think of nothing but getting rid of her. Marianna knew that if she kept obeying him like this, what would be waiting for her would become a reality. If she remembered right, Marianna made her move against the heroine on the 30th of October. She looked at the calendar to see that the date was practically around the corner, so she knew what she had to do, and at the very least she needed to go against her father's advice. The same went for Alex. She was known to be the girl with the same color as His Highness. Even if she was a count's daughter, her red eyes caused disturbance. People had heard that those with red eyes wielded fire were vicious and prone to losing control. Just seeing a color like spilled blood was gruesome. Marianna walked in the gardens to find a boy, pleased to see her. It was Alexis, and he wanted Marianna, whom he called Marie, to call him Alex. He told her he found a bright red rose and he wanted her to go with him. He even told Marianna the rose was as beautiful as her eyes, but Marianna knew what the people said, that her eyes were like blood. She told Alex that although he thought her eyes were pretty, many others said they were scary. She told him it would be wrong to compare a rose to someone like her. She remembered how they also said that her magic was hard to control. Marie began to cry, but Alex wiped her tears. He told her that her eyes were beautiful with a big smile on his face, and he reminded her that if eyes with color were so frightening, then they were practically in the same boat. He told Marie that from now on, if anyone said something cruel, he wanted her to lean on him. He did not want her hurting or struggling alone, and when Marianna asked why, he told her it was because he wanted to protect her. Alexis patted her head and told Marianna not to be so hard on herself. He would be by her side no matter what. Marianna knew that Alexis was a really kind person, but that was all the more reason for her not to put him through any trouble. She knew she had to avoid her own condemnation, and to do that she needed to think. A woman entered her room. It was her stepmother. She told Marianna how she heard the count shouting just now and wanted to ask if everything was all right. Marianna told her that everything was fine, but if this kept going on, listening to her father, she would end up hurting someone. Her stepmother told her how she could not imagine Marianna doing anything like that, but Marianna told her it was true and she was worried she would end up losing her mind. So that was when Marianna decided she would leave this house. She decided to meet with Alexis in the garden, and a few days had passed since she decided to run away. And now of all times, His Highness had summoned her. She was worried she had done something wrong. Alexis told her he had heard a rumor that Marianna had decided to leave her family home. Marianna's eyes widened, wondering how the news had spread to Alexis, and now he just wanted to know why. Marianna looked at him and she knew that she was becoming someone he disliked. After everything Marianna did to the heroine, that came as no surprise. She thought that there was no reason for Alexis to intervene at all. Alexis asked her if she even had anywhere to go and asked if she was planning to withdraw from the academy too. Marianna looked down as two girls walked over. They asked each other if the two figures were Prince Alexis and Lady Marianna. They speculated that Elena forced Alexis to have tea with Marianna just because they were close, but they called Marianna shameless and pitied Alexis for having to deal with her. Marianna told Alexis that she could live in the dorms or work in town and commute. She just did not want to spend her life dependent on her family. And deep down she knew that if she did not get away from her father, she would only drag Alex into this. She told him she just wanted to stand on her own feet, and to do that she needed to change her environment. Her sharp words made Alexis back off. But after a moment's silence, he told Marianna that if that was how she felt, then he would help. But he could not allow her the dormitory, explaining that there were plenty of commoners there. It would be a scandal if a count's daughter moved in, and watching the poorer students shrink back around her would be painful, even for him. Come to think of it, the heroine was supposed to live in the dorms too, so there was no way Alexis would send his enemy into a place like that. Marianna wondered what she was even hoping for. That Alexis would worry about her even just a little, the way he did about her. Alexis grabbed Marianna's hand before she could walk away. He reminded her that she was his fiancée, and working in town was out of the question as well. Marianna looked at him and Alexis told her she would live at the royal castle and go to school from there. And she could even start her crown princess training a little early. Before Marianna could come up with any other excuse, Alexis hurried away, telling her he would sort out all the paperwork. He told her he would pick her up after class too, so she should wait for him. He waved goodbye, leaving Marianna stumped. She imagined her life as a princess before holding her hands up to her face in fear. She knew her fate and that in the end, Alexis would never choose her anyway. Meanwhile, Alexis wandered through the hallway. He knew that there was something off about Marie. He called to Ewan, a boy with dark hair, asking him if he caught everything between Marianna and Elena. Ewan told him that the bullying was very childish and it was not like Marianna at all. Alexis agreed. To him, Marianna was the kind of person who did not condone wrongdoing, and that was exactly why he had to be sure. He told Ewan that from today, Marie would be living in the royal castle. He told him about their conversation and how Marianna wanted to fix her environment. Ewan asked Alexis if he thought that Marianna had something in mind, and Alexis was not sure. He told Ewan to keep a close eye on the people around her, and the other matter, the one they discussed. He knew they were very good at covering their tracks. He told Ewan he was counting on him to keep at that one too. Ewan agreed, and Alexis walked off alone. He looked to the sky, thinking of Marianna. He did not want to hurt her. Marianna remembered Alexis's words, how he would be picking her up after class. So she did as she was told and waited in the empty classroom. And Alexis stuck to his word, calling her name. He seemed pleased to see her. They both got into the carriage and spent the ride mostly in silence. Marianna felt really awkward with the prince. With her reputation trashed like this, she wondered what she was supposed to say, and Alexis looked like he was totally lost in thought. She knew that if every ride home was supposed to be like this, she would truly lose her mind. Alexis told her that it had been a while since they shared a carriage, and Marianna assumed that was because of his work at the student council. Alexis told her that he skipped it today because he wanted to prioritize going home with her. Marianna knew that Alexis's heart truly belonged to Elena, but right now he was sitting next to Marianna. He must be doing it to keep an eye on her, perhaps to make sure she did not hurt Elena anymore. Not to mention, Alexis treated everyone with respect even if he could not stand that person. So she decided not to assume things just because he was being nice to her. Alexis told Marianna to look out of the window, and Marianna saw a beautiful grand castle. He called it their castle and told Marianna they were almost there. He asked her if she had visited since elementary school, and Marianna thought so, but nothing could change how beautiful and inviting it looked. Alexis told her that he kept the gardens and rooms ready so her family could visit at any time. He took her to her room and even invited her for dinner with him afterwards. Marianna asked him if he should be eating with his family, but Alexis told her she was practically family too. He said that he also wanted to spend time with her since it had been forever since they had a proper talk. He asked her to let him have her all to himself. Marianna had to close her eyes. She knew Alexis's smile would be the end of her, so she agreed. Alexis smiled, looking super excited. He called the maids and asked them to prepare Marianna their finest dress. Before Marianna could intervene, the maids dragged her away. After being primped and pampered, Marianna was taken to dinner. Being spoiled was certainly exhausting. Alexis asked Marianna if she was going to eat, but Marianna wanted to ask if all this was a bit too much. She told him she was just one of his fiancé candidates, and she was basically taking advantage of him. She asked him to treat her more like a servant from now on. But Alexis told her that he did not want to treat his own fiancée like a servant. Marianna told him she had nothing to give to return the favor though. But Alexis smiled as ever, telling her he did not expect anything in return, but she could always help out at the student council if she wanted to. Marianna asked him to explain what that would be like, and Alexis told her they were short-handed for next week's magic exhibition. He told Marie she was really capable and having her around would make things much easier. Marianna felt herself smiling, but she needed to remind herself that Alexis was probably just being nice. The thought of being of use, however, did intrigue her, so she told him she would do it. Marianna later returned to her luxurious bedroom. She lay on the bed feeling exhausted yet excited. In one single day she ran away from home and found refuge at the royal castle. At least she was away from her father for now. Marianna fell asleep, promising herself that she would not cause Alexis any trouble and that she would do her best to be helpful. That night she dreamt of watching a show in the theater. It had a happy romantic ending, something which excited the little girl that Marianna was in the dream. She told her father, who was sat next to her, that she wanted to be like the princess with Alexis one day. Her father smiled, telling her he could tell she really loved Alexis. But then his words went dark as he told Marianna that they would do whatever they had to do to make sure she got him. And then there was nothing but darkness as Marianna was consumed by a tangle of sharp thorns, her father's words echoing in her head. He told her that the crown princess's throne was hers. Marianna jolted up in a sweat. She knew it was just a dream and she was fine. She remembered that play when she was younger and she loved it. But maybe she dreamt of it tonight because Alexis and the prince looked so similar. Suddenly she heard a loud voice requesting a bouquet. Marianna opened the door to see what was going on. But then she was engulfed in a warm hug. A younger girl, Princess Rosalia, looked super pleased to see Marianna, and when she looked up she also saw Alexis. Rosalia told Marianna how she had heard that she was going to live here, so she rushed over to see her, but Alexis tried to stop her yesterday. Alexis butted in, telling Rosalia that she only wanted Marianna to get some rest first. Rosalia was ecstatic, asking Marianna if them living together meant that it would be permanent until the wedding. As sweet as Rosalia was, it was starting to get all too much for Marianna. She told Rosalia that she was only a candidate, so she probably would not stay that long. Rosalia's face dropped in an instant, telling Marianna that even her parents were planning a welcome party. Alexis seemed disheartened to hear that too. He told Rosalia to stop bothering Marianna, as she needed to get changed. Marianna realized she was standing there looking at Alexis in only a nightgown, and she darted back into her room. In the carriage she apologized for being out in the open undressed. Alexis told her they could just forget about it. Besides, he and his sister thought of Marianna as family. Marianna knew that it was true that their families were always close, but after her mother died they started to drift apart. She knew that there should not be any reason for them to treat her like this now. Alexis reached out to pat her, but he ended up poking her. Marianna moaned in pain and he apologized but told her she should really stop overthinking as it was a bad habit of hers. Marianna told Mike that she had heard that Elena lived in the dorms, but Mike told her that was not the case. Elena commuted to the academy from home. Marianna then realized that there were some discrepancies. Elena was meant to be quiet and reserved, and live in the dorms too. But more than that, why was Alexis so against Marianna living in the dorms? Was there any reason besides Lady Elena? Alexis stood up to give his briefing. He told the students that in preparation for the upcoming magic exhibition, the council brought in 2 helpers, Elena Linton and Marianna Rottenclaw. Marianna noticed a difference in their popularity levels immediately, with people clapping and cheering for Elena, but nothing but awkward silence for her. She knew this was coming, but it still hurt. Alexis asked if they could head into the archive next door and gather the documents they needed. He explained that they should be careful, however, as the last student council left it a mess. Marianna went on her way, and she noticed how big the library was. Mike said that even the king gave up on it. Marianna was surprised that His Highness had been dealing with all of this, so she knew she had to help a little. She reached out to pick up a book, but then there was a loud crash. Marianna turned to see Elena, who had been hit by a bookcase that fell. She weakly cried for help and Marianna rushed to pick up the books that buried Elena's body. The others rushed in, hearing the noise. They asked if the bookshelf fell over on its own and Marianna said yes. She did not see it happen, but that was the most logical explanation. When Elena saw Alexis, she apologized to him, but then she told him a tale that Marianna had asked her to grab a book from the top shelf, causing everything to come crashing down. Alexis turned to Marianna, asking her what happened. Marianna felt all eyes on her and she knew that look. It was like someone had already made up their mind that she was the one to blame. Saying that she did not do anything would not work in a situation like this, and there was no reason for anyone to believe her. Alexis told her to forget it, asking Elena if she was hurt. Elena told him she twisted her ankle, and Alexis held his hand out to her. In front of Marianna, he picked Elena up, telling the others he would take her to the infirmary. Marianna was left behind, feeling stung. She knew it, she was not the heroine. No matter how hard she struggled, this was a fate she could not escape, because she was the villainess, and she would never be Alexis's princess. The first time Alexis met Marie was the first time he understood how vivid color could be. People spoke about Marianna, mentioning her colored eyes most of the time. Most people had brown eyes, so it made Marianna look like she was from another world. Marianna would ask Alex if everything was okay. He just looked so mesmerized. Marianna told him she loved his eyes too. They made him look happy. He just wanted to know more about Marianna, and he knew how he felt about her. He remembered overhearing his father say that His Highness had the rare blessing of water in his eyes, and letting someone like that near Alexis could only bring disaster. Marianna's mother died in an accident, and it was said that bringing bad luck like that into the royal family was unthinkable. Alexis knew that way too many people hated Marianna's eyes. Magic was rare and precious, both as military strength and for everyday life. That was exactly why Marie, with such strong powers, was feared, even though she was just born that way. Alexis wanted to protect Marie from people who expected everything from her and then feared her for it. And right now he knew all he could do. He found a magic stone that he had poured his power into. People with magic could store it in objects. His mother told him they were something you exchange with the person you want to stay with forever. She told him not to be reckless with exchanging his, as it was practically a proposal. Alexis knew, and this was his resolve. Even as a powerless child, he would not lose when it came to resolve. He swore on this stone that he would protect her. He told Marianna that he wanted her to have it. Marianna smiled, thanking Alex. She told him that she had never made a magic stone though, and if she took this now she could not give him one back. But Alex told her that was fine. Instead, it could be their promise. Once they were older and could both make proper magic stones, they could trade them. He asked her to keep this one until then. Marianna looked at the stone in between her hands and promised Alexis they would trade. There was a knock on the door and Alexis, deep in thought at his desk, looked up to see Ewan. He asked if the student council members were okay after what happened, and was told that the mood was quite sour after, but they got everything done. He told Alexis that his rescue really stood out, and to everyone else it looked like Elena had truly won. Alexis's eyes widened, telling Ewan that was ridiculous. He wished that people would stop turning other people's business into romantic gossip. Ewan did tell Alexis that his bride was supposed to be someone with strong magic though, and despite Elena's magic being on par with Marianna's, healing spells always went over better with the public. But Alexis knew the one he wanted to marry was Marianna. From the day they met until now, that had not changed. He told Ewan that no matter who tried to interfere, he would be the one to protect her. Ewan smiled and told Alexis that if that was what he wanted, then he would respect it. Ewan suggested that Alexis say that directly to Lady Marianna, and Alexis looked more stressed than ever. He told Ewan they were living together at the castle anyway, and that meant they traveled together to school too. That alone should make it obvious that he was not looking at anyone but Marie. Ewan asked Alexis if that was what he thought. He suggested otherwise, saying that Marianna would not believe it unless he told her straight. So Alexis decided to go and invite Marie to dinner right now. He knocked on her door and she explained she already ate and also that she wanted to study alone for a while. She asked Alexis to excuse her. Alexis agreed and wished her luck. After that, he kept trying to get close to Lady Marianna. She would always have an excuse though. He told Ewan what happened, who reassured him that he was the type who flailed harder the more worked up he got. Ewan knew from last time that Marianna did seem to like Alexis, so something must have happened. Marianna sat in the empty classroom, reading a book. It was on magic stone economics, the distribution of magical tools that use magic stones and bias in the trade routes. She wondered how many stones she would need to make each month to get by. She heard a voice and turned to see John. He asked her what she was doing at the academy. Marianna asked if he was supposed to be with her father and the others, but John told her he was sent on an errand. He looked at the book she was reading and asked if it was on magic stone economics. He told her she was incredibly strong and fast at channeling magic into stones. He advised her that if she studied economics she could even start her own business. But he asked if a crown princess really needed economics. Marianna looked down awkwardly. She told John that she was not guaranteed to become crown princess. There was also Elena, another candidate. She was just the one with strong magic, and she could not heal people the way Elena could. Not to mention, people would not be happy to see someone like her at His Highness's side. So that was why Marianna was interested in making herself useful with her magic. She explained that it was the only thing that she had. John told her that it was true she had great power, but he did not think that His Highness would choose his bride based on that alone. Marianna looked up as John continued, saying that it was obvious how much Marianna cared about Prince Alex. He asked her if she was really going to give that up. Marianna began to speak, but no words came out of her mouth. She looked out of the window to see Elena chasing after Alexis. She was practically clinging to him. Marianna knew there was no way. From the very first time they met, when Alex first comforted her, from the moment he promised her a future, she knew that she liked Alex this whole time. But His Highness already had someone he cared about. So for now she just wanted to be useful to him. Once she decided that she finally felt like she could try again, studying stone economics was a part of that. She asked John if he was sent on an errand, and John explained that he actually did need her to recharge the magic in some stones. He apologized for the request, but Marianna was fine with it. She did ask if there should be spare stones in the house though. John said that there were, but her stepmother's friend begged for them. She needed them for a party, supposedly, so she could not say no. So Marianna took the box and began her magic. John was left astounded when she finished. She told him not to store stones of the same type together, as if they resonated they would react to each other. And Marianna's were prone to going out of control. John began to sweat, telling Marianna he would keep that in mind. Marianna asked him to give her regards to her stepmother and the others, and she waved John goodbye. She reached for the smooth stone that Alexis gave her when they were kids, and she wondered if it was pathetic that she still wore something he gave her back then. The door opened and it was Alexis. He asked her if it was time to head home now. He saw Marianna looking quite out of it and asked if everything was all right. Marianna smiled, telling him they should go. The magic exhibition was tomorrow, and there would be the usual spell demonstrations and magic tools powered by stones. Alexis heard there would be some plays and food stalls too. He told Marianna they should do their best on patrol, as there would be outside guests too. Marianna looked down. The exhibition ran for 2 days. On the second day, the original Marianna sabotaged Lady Elena's magic presentation and hurt her. Marianna knew that she was not planning to do anything like that now, but if the story really did have a will of its own, she did not know what to expect. Alexis told Marianna there was something he wanted her to know about tomorrow. He said that once the exhibition was over, he would speak to her. Marianna wondered what it could be about, guessing it could be his feelings for Lady Elena. Even if nothing happened at the exhibition, Prince Alexis's heart was always heading her way. Marianna agreed with a smile, and Alexis thought of what Ewan said about Marianna not getting it until he told her straight. He knew Ewan was right. Vague words would not be enough to reach her. He looked at Marianna and could not help reaching his hand out. He grabbed her waist, which caused her to jerk back. Alexis asked her not to call him His Highness, as she was the one person he never wanted calling him that. Marianna said that was okay, but she wanted Alexis to let go of her hand. Alexis told her how she used to call him Alex and she should continue. Marianna looked down, asking again for him to let go. Alexis was happy she agreed, but Marianna was far from impressed. What was this feeling? Alexis felt different from the one she was used to, and it was really throwing her off. She looked around to see that people had started to stare and asked Alex to let go of her hand before they attracted any more attention. Alexis apologized, telling her he accidentally used the spell that makes hands stick together. He laughed, saying that would mean they just had to stay like this all the way back to the castle. Marianna yelled that this was not his magic, it was simply his grip strength. Alex laughed it off, but then apologized. He swore that he would protect Marianna. Marianna told Alexis they were almost there now, and he explained that since he only had one hand free, she would need to feed him dinner. Marianna snapped that she never agreed to that. Marianna and the rest of the council arrived at the magic exhibition. The event was already in full swing, with fireworks and magic flower petals. The faculty set them off to get everyone excited, but Alexis reminded them that students were not allowed to use magic, which was why the student council was patrolling today. They also had outside guests, so there was even more risk of trouble. Alexis explained that he needed everyone focused to prevent that. So the event finally began. In the novel, on the second day of the magic exhibition, Marianna ended up hurting Elena. If the story had a will of its own, then no matter what she did, she would be condemned tomorrow. But Marianna knew it was different now. She knew that her father's brainwashing did not control her anymore, and all she had to do was stay as herself, as Marianna. She knew if she did that, she should be able to avoid her condemnation. Mike added that his family had an accessory booth here, and if Marianna got a break from her shift, she should stop by. Marianna asked if his family's stall was Anne's Goods, the one with all the cute little trinkets at good prices. She even had a few pieces in her room. Mike was pleased that Marianna knew about the shop, but before he could say another word, Marianna was embraced by Rosalia. She fell to the ground, and people asked if the girl was Alexis's sister. Marianna apologized for not catching her and asked where her guards were. Rosalia told her they were hidden in the crowd. There were plenty of them around, but they just did not want anyone to notice. She winked at Marianna, telling her that more importantly, no matter what happened or who showed up, no one could beat Mother. Alexis and Marianna looked at her before a woman approached the group. She admitted that she was strong in magic, capable in martial arts, and practically perfect. But she was not such an attention seeker that she would wander around alone. The woman was the queen of the kingdom of Seria, Ophelia Macampork. Ophelia added that she had heard something about patrols and asked if that meant the student council members could not visit the stalls or see the exhibits. Alexis told his mother that it was not that strict. They scheduled shifts so everyone could still enjoy it as normal students, and then he would be borrowing her for a while. Ophelia grabbed Marianna and asked her to see the stalls with her. Rosalia added that she would be joining too. Both Alexis and Marianna looked stunned. Ophelia asked if it was difficult because of her patrol shift, and Alexis tried to steal her back. But then Elena interrupted, saying Marianna was mostly scheduled for tomorrow anyway. The queen smiled, saying they should start from one end and work their way through. The three went on to explore the stalls, and they even came across a performance. The queen suggested they visit the magic tool shop next, before she was called by Sebus, who announced that the ladies' council was about to start and all the members were waiting for her. Ophelia had forgotten about her meeting, and she told Rosalia and Marianna to enjoy the rest of the day. Marianna asked Rosalia where she wanted to go next, suggesting they could look at some accessories. But then she heard a voice. She turned to see Alexis with Elena. He caught Marianna's eye before turning away. Then Rosalia stormed over, asking him why he was running away from her. Marianna tried to call Rosalia back, but she asked him if he had bought Elena something. Elena turned to see Marianna and loudly said it would be cruel to talk about this in front of her. Marianna heard a voice that belonged to nobody. It told her that Alexis did not love her, that the only thing he wanted from her was her magic. It told her to eliminate her enemies if Alexis was the one she wanted, and that this was the only way she would be happy. Suddenly Marianna cried no, she knew she would never do that. Even if she was not chosen as crown princess, she would never go that far. Then she heard her name and turned to see Elena, who was still looking at her. Marianna wondered why. She was the heroine, and the one who was winning. Marianna could not stop thinking about what happened, even later that night. She stayed up late thinking that even in the original story they were enemies, and there was never a scene where she worried about her. But that expression and the way she spoke to her, it was almost like something else. Then she heard her name. It was Alexis, asking her if she was all right. Marianna asked why he was in her room, and Alexis defended himself by saying that he did knock. He stroked her hair, telling her that Rosalia and the others dragged her all over the place today. He said he came to check on her, and she really did look worn out. Marianna told Alexis she was not tired at all, but he told her not to push herself too hard. Marianna knew this concern was just him being fair to a crown princess candidate. She told Alexis she was not being dragged around. They snacked their way through the stalls, joined an improv play, and most importantly, she had fun with Princess Rosalia and the others. She added that she saw he was with Elena anyway. Alexis looked confused, so Marianna told him that everyone was talking about it and that she even heard he bought Elena a gift. But Alexis told her that was not true. He said he wanted to patrol with her and watch the play with her too. Marianna's eyes widened as he pulled a box out of his pocket. He said this was not how he planned to give it to her, but he wanted to now. Marianna looked down at the box and wondered what it was. It turned out that Elena and Alexis had come across Mike's family shop, and Elena asked Alexis what he thought would suit her. Alexis flatly told her to go with a color she liked and politely asked her to let go of his hand. But Elena insisted that he pick something out for her and even guided his hand. Alexis apologized and suggested something bright and lovely. He handed Marianna the box, saying he had planned to buy this with her in the first place. Marianna unwrapped it and saw a beautiful necklace. Alexis said it might look cheap, but he thought it would be nice for the soirée after tomorrow's exhibition. He looked at Marianna, who seemed so surprised as if she knew she had gotten everything wrong. She asked Alexis if he was sure. She had been wrong the whole time, letting jealousy consume her for no reason. And yet even after all that, Alexis smiled and told Marianna he wanted her to have it. Marianna smiled when he asked if he could put it on for her. Her eyes widened, and Alexis said there was not much he could do to help her get ready for tomorrow's soirée, so at least let him be the first to see her wearing this. He reached out and secured the necklace. Alexis told Marianna she looked really beautiful. Words that made her blush. He called her name and told her he was always on her side. Today, tomorrow, or whenever in the future. No matter what, he wanted her to trust him. But Marianna did not know if it was still truly safe to believe him. The story might still force him to choose Lady Elena, and this hope of hers might be betrayed by fate again. Even so, at least for now, she would put her trust in him. Day 2 of the magic exhibition came, and Marianna wore the accessory Alex gave to her. Nobody said anything about it though. She imagined that since everyone had their own thing going on when it came to the exhibition, no one would notice. But then a voice said that it was quite a flashy little trinket for someone like her. Marianna turned, wondering if it was about her, but it turned out it was about a prop. She kept walking but wondered if they were fighting. A girl was against a wall holding a box of props. She said that the tiara was just made from leftover magic stones from class, so it was fake and worthless. A man said it must be nice, as noble lessons cost a fortune, and common folk like him could not even afford a single stone. He was trying to insult her. Suddenly there was a burst of flames, and the girl ran away. Marianna thought to herself that jealousy was practically human nature, but she knew that taking it out on others was extremely immature. She watched guards escort the man away and supposed the encounter got him banned. Then again, the old Marianna was not much better, so she really could not judge. Still, she was glad she kept her magic under control today. She remembered Alexis's words, how students basically could not use magic on campus. Even if it was just a warning shot, she might have gone too far. Suddenly the girl asked her to wait. It was the girl from before, who was apologizing for scaring her. Marianna thought that to them she was just something to fear. Marianna smiled, telling the girl it was no issue, and that she would not go near her again. The girl thanked Marianna almost dramatically. She then apologized for coming across too boldly. She introduced herself as Emma Clay, and asked Marianna if she was protecting her just then. Marianna agreed, as she was the one behind the trick that threw the man off. She told Emma that using her magic on the school grounds was pretty naughty of her, but then a voice said that they did not think she would get in trouble for this. Marianna turned around to see Ewan, and today was the first time they met. He explained that he had been nearby this whole time as His Highness's guard. Marianna seemed to recognize his face. Ewan went on to say that the recording artifact, the water mirror, caught the whole thing. If the young lady was willing to testify, there should be no problem. Emma said she would certainly testify, as Marianna stepped in to help her. She said that the fire did scare her a little, but punishing someone just for using magic to protect someone would be really wrong. Marianna thanked Emma and wondered if she could be friends with her. It was a relief to have people actually see her for who she was. Ewan told her that Alexis asked them to help her prepare for tonight's soirée, and Marianna realized it was almost time for her to begin getting ready, but she was supposed to attend the soirée in uniform. Was there something else she needed to prepare? Marianna was shown to a room filled with palace maids. Ewan told them he would leave Marianna in their hands, and she was subjected to another pampering session. Before the soirée began, Marianna stepped out, and everyone's heads turned when she did. She looked exquisite in a shapely black dress that exposed her shoulders. Getting dressed was like being caught in a tornado. The palace workers were sweet, but they certainly took their job seriously. They even told Marianna how His Highness picked out the outfit for her himself. Marianna wondered if it was really okay for her to wear something this beautiful. Then again, if a crown princess candidate showed up to the soirée in her school uniform, that would be its own scandal. In that case, she wondered if he had a full set made for Lady Elena too. Marianna took a sip of her drink. She decided that overthinking things would not change anything anyway. Even if he did, this whole outfit was something Alexis chose and gave to her, so she should just let herself be happy about it. She looked up to see Alexis enter the party with Rosalia. They both looked amazing, with Rosalia in a cute dress and Alexis dressed like a true royal. Marianna heard comments about how Lady Elena's dress was gorgeous. It was supposedly sapphire and she looked like a princess from a fairy tale. Some even speculated that the dress was from Alexis. Marianna looked down, knowing that he truly was fair to everyone. Elena, however, looked like she had seen a ghost. She mentioned how there were a lot of eyes here and asked Alexis if they could go somewhere more private. Marianna was left feeling confused about where they could be going. Whatever it was, it must have been important, so she put her glass down and decided to follow them. She saw a room that only the royal family was allowed in, and inviting a woman into that antechamber could only mean one thing. But she remembered how Alexis told her he was on her side. She heard voices saying, "You can relax and I'm on your side," in a whisper. Marianna had heard enough. She began to run but tripped and fell to the ground. Fate really could not be changed, and getting away from her father did not change anything at all. Even talking with Alexis, even helping someone, in the end everything still had to follow the story. She looked in the mirror and thought of the stone, charged with magic. Alexis told her that when he looked it up, it said it brought good luck to its owner, and it matched his eyes too. Her necklace was the same color. To anyone watching, Lady Elena probably looked better in every way. Her dress, her jewels, everything. She looked like the perfect princess. And Marianna still wanted to believe in Alexis, who gave her this color. She decided she would carry on with the night and worry about her ankle later. But when she rejoined the party, she noticed some unhappy faces. What had happened in her absence? She saw Alexis with Elena by his side, and Alexis told Marianna he needed to speak with her. Marianna knew she wanted to know, and yet she hesitated. It was said that Marianna was suspected of injuring Lady Elena. Marianna asked when exactly that had happened, as she did not recall anything of the sort. During the magic presentation, when Elena tried to cast her spell, Marianna was said to have used interference magic on her. Marianna told them she was on patrol outside at that time. She was then accused of lying, as people stepped forward claiming to be witnesses. Marianna knew it was all impossible. At the time she was patrolling. She remembered Emma, knowing she could speak up for her. She looked to Emma, knowing they were definitely together, so why was she being silent? In the end, she really did not have anyone on her side. If she had just kept doing whatever her father said, she would not have had all these pointless hopes. Alexis looked at Marianna as she thought that if she had just accepted her fate instead of fighting it, she would not have to be hurt like this. Then she remembered that this itself was a line in the novel. The story had not changed after all, and everything she did was pointless. Her feelings, her hopes of trusting Alexis, all of it. Alexis took Marianna's hand and kissed it. He told her that even he could not forgive that. Marianna looked at Alexis, who smiled at her. Elena shrieked, asking Alex what he was doing. The others told him how Elena got hurt by Marianna, so why was he taking her side? Alexis turned to the people and told them to stop shouting. It was scaring Marianna. He asked them if they all saw Marianna hurting Elena. They began to stutter, but Elena said that was what she had been saying. Before the magic presentation, Lady Marianna attacked her. She healed it immediately, but it was still an attack that hurt. Alexis said if that was true, then both should have a magic use record on file with the academy. Using magic on school grounds was forbidden, and if used, the magic stones automatically recorded it and users were obliged to report it to the staff. Alexis asked Marianna if she reported using magic today, and Marianna agreed. She said that a student was about to be hurt by an outsider, so she used a deterrent spell. Elena accused her of lying again, saying that log was from when she attacked her. She said she definitely took a fire spell from her. But then a voice said that was not what happened. Marianna turned to see Emma, who reluctantly stepped forward. Emma explained how Marianna used magic to help her. As House Clay, she was stating this clearly. Lady Elena was with her when she claimed she got hurt. Marianna looked over at Emma, who stood up for her. Anyuan also stepped forward, saying they had the magic tool that recorded everything. The water mirror recorded reality and stored it as moving images. In other words, they could project the footage here to prove Marianna's innocence. He turned to Elena, asking her to explain exactly how she got injured. Elena went quiet before turning to Alex. Alex told her she never even reported using healing magic, and if she really healed it, she would not need those dramatic bandages. If Marianna's fire magic hit her, everyone would have reported it to the teachers. He told Elena her story was full of gaps, and she should never have claimed that she saw Marianna do it. Marianna took Elena's hands and told her they could continue this somewhere else. Elena, out of embarrassment, began to cry, and Ewan told Alexis it would be best to wait for her to calm down. Marianna never thought she would get through the condemnation scene like this. She sat in the drawing room with Alexis, and she asked him why he pushed her that far. Alexis looked down, saying there was no way he could forgive anyone trying to disgrace Marianna. He held himself back every time unsettling rumors or strange behavior about her came up. That said, he was too harsh with a young lady, and he agreed to apologize once everything was resolved. Ewan came forward, saying that he owed Marianna and Emma one too. It turned out Emma wanted to clear Marianna's name immediately, but his superior kept telling him to wait for the right moment, so they held off until Elena slipped up. Marianna looked down, knowing now she was being protected before she was even aware she was. It was a bit embarrassing, but she was struggling alone just because she thought this was a story world. She thanked Alexis and Ewan for protecting her. Both the boys appeared pretty flustered. They still did not know why Elena would lie like that. Marianna knew in the original story it was the Villainess who hurt her, for something driven by the power of the story, almost like she was desperately trying to make things match up. Alexis smiled, telling Marianna they had enough information to have a rough idea of what happened in their heads, but he would rather hear it straight from her. Eventually Elena was invited in. Alexis asked her why she caused this mess. Did someone threaten her? Marianna told her that if she told them, His Highness would make sure she was protected. She said she would do everything she could to protect her too. She pleaded with Elena to explain. Elena told them she was originally Baron Linton's illegitimate child. Her mother was a commoner and sickly, so they lived modestly. After it was discovered she had a healing affinity, Baron Linton approached them. She told them that healing magic was rare, but it was not all powerful. With chronic illness or frailty, magic alone could not completely cure you, just like her mother. She said if she used that healing magic for him, he would improve her mother's living situation. If she became his child, he would cover medical costs and give them his family name. Alexis asked if this meant Baron Linton was exploiting her purely for his own gain. He said that Lady Elena's healing magic was valuable, and if he had reported it to the crown, both would have been under royal protection. They had already started preparing punishments for the Baron and everyone involved. He said that Elena was a victim in all of this. Alexis asked if Baron Linton ordered her to start this incident, and Elena went silent. She admitted what she did to Marianna was unforgivable. She made everyone isolate Marianna, and she apologized for it. Marianna told Elena not to blame herself. She admitted she was not exactly the most welcoming either, and she apologized for that. But Marianna knew in the story this kind of thing may mean something. Was Elena a reincarnator too? Marianna put her hands on Elena's shoulders. When Elena asked what was wrong, Marianna asked if she was playing Elena's role. Elena asked if Marianna was as well. She said yes, but she never imagined there would be another person reincarnated too. All this time she had been scared. She thought if she did not follow the story, she would disappear. Marianna told her she felt the same, but from now on neither of them had to be alone. So they agreed to take it on together for now. They hugged, but then realized the men were still in the room, wondering what they were talking about. Marianna smiled, telling them it was a maiden's secret. Ewan waved them off as Alexis gathered that they ended up talking for quite a while. Thanks to that, the background behind this incident was clear now. Baron Linton ordered Elena to draw Alex's attention. At the same time, he said that Lady Marianna was bound to attack her during the presentation, so she needed to let herself get hurt on purpose. Alexis commented that from how he spoke, it sounded like Baron Linton was taking orders from someone else too. Marianna asked if this meant someone else was behind him. Alexis told her that was what they suspected. Alexis then told Marianna there was something he needed to say first. He apologized to her, telling her that while he was investigating who was pulling Lady Elena's strings, he left Marianna in the dark and made her anxious. He told her it was to protect her, but if it ended up hurting her, then he completely missed the point. He bowed his head, apologizing again. Marianna understood. Every time the old Marianna tried to bully Lady Elena, he stepped between them. Every time he treated Lady Elena and her equally in public too. Marianna forgave him, telling him she knew that everything he did was for her sake. Then Alexis leaned in and kissed her on the cheek, which made Marianna squirm. She asked him if she was allowed to be mad, but Alexis asked if she would forgive him. Marianna looked down, saying just this once. And like that, the turbulent evening banquet came to an end. Later, Baron Linton was arrested, and Elena and her mother were taken into protection. She now lived in the student dorms. Incidentally, once she had been freed from everything, she seemed much more refreshed. She admitted the over-the-top cutesy act was never her thing anyway. Marianna sat down for tea with Alexis, telling him how she could not believe the one he was talking with in the VIP room at the banquet was Lord Mike. Alexis said that Mike was Elena's childhood friend, and he stormed in asking for leniency, so he let him in. He asked her if she really thought he snuck a woman in there. Alexis told Marianna that he only ever had eyes for her and that would not change. Marianna told him that she understood that now after everything that had happened, but Alexis told Marianna that it still did not seem like it was enough for her. He got down on one knee and asked Marianna if she remembered that he said he wanted to talk after the banquet. Marianna did remember, but what was all this about? Alexis told Marianna he wanted her to become his fiancée. Marianna asked why, and he told her it was because he loved her. He wanted them to be together without any strings attached. He wanted to protect her for the rest of his life and have her by his side. He smiled, telling Marianna the more he said, the less cool he sounded. Tears streamed down Marianna's eyes and she explained to Alexis that she was happy. He embraced her in a hug before thanking her. He was very happy too, and from now on he was not holding back. He wanted to love her. Yurin came across Alexis and Marianna embracing and was pleased to see that they had finally gotten together. He asked how many years it took, watching from close as Alexis's aide and childhood friend had been exasperating. Alexis snapped at Yurin for embarrassing him. Marianna asked if he remembered the promise they made years ago. Alexis asked if she meant the promise to exchange magic stones. Marianna told him they were both pretty good with magic now, so she wanted to give him one. Alex looked down, telling Marianna they already did. That accessory he gave her before the party, the pendant, had a magic stone with his power imbued in it. Marianna was shocked to hear that. She thought the gem was from the pop-up shop, but Alexis explained how Mike and the shop staff helped him put it in the necklace. Truthfully, he wanted to make it look like he had just happened to buy it for her. Yurin smiled, knowing that was a pretty romantic gesture. Marianna told Alexis that she had not given him anything yet, and Yurin asked if he could explain that part. He hinted to Alexis, who yelled John's name. So basically Yurin snuck into their house as John on Alex's orders. And the magic stone she thought was commissioned by her stepmother was actually for Alex. Marianna looked down, wishing they should just let her make one. They were approached by another figure, who said His Highness had already been whipped by his future queen. Alexis looked at the man, Marquis Dolban, asking what he was doing barging in on a private date. Dolban said after his audience with His Majesty he was looking for Alexis to pay his respects. Seeing His Highness get scolded by Lady Rottenclaw took him back to his younger days with his wife. Yurin laughed sarcastically. The man was a distant relative of the royal family, now serving as a marquis. Because of that, there should be a certain amount of distance between them, but something seemed off about the man. Dolban saw Marianna and apologized for the late greeting. He asked her how her parents were. Since the Count and his family were quite diligent with their correspondence, he imagined she was aware of their situation. Alexis snapped at Dolban, telling him he wanted Marianna to himself right now, so he asked him to leave. Dolban told Alexis he did not mean to get in the way and wandered off. Come to think of it, Marianna had not written to them or seen her family since coming to the castle. She wondered how they were doing right now. She was able to avoid the condemnation of the story, so maybe she should return home. Alexis told Marianna that tea time in the castle was nice, but he suggested them going outside in town. He even said they could sneak out and have some fun. When Marianna told Elena the next day, she shrieked, and Marianna told her to keep it down. Elena told Marianna that she was super interested in seeing a development that was not in the original work, before asking if she could follow them. Marianna told her she would probably be caught by the guards, but the date sounded great, especially with someone you like. Marianna asked Elena if she ever went out with Mike, which made her blush. She said that if he made a move, she would never say no. Marianna smirked, and Elena asked her what was with that look. Elena mentioned that this invite seemed pretty sudden, and asked if something set it off. Marianna then realized how it seemed to happen right after he spoke with Marquis Dolban. Elena asked if she meant Wesley, and Marianna asked her if she knew him. When her mother got sick, Elena went to Baron Linton for help, and Marquis Dolban happened to be at the Baron's place then. Elena was desperate but lost at what to do, and suddenly her mother was cured. Marquis Dolban appeared, telling her it was because his carriage wheel came off nearby, so he stopped by to ask the Baron for help. But he was enchanted by Elena, who healed her mother. Elena said that just like that she ended up in the Baron's household when she was 13. She was pretty sure in the novel her eyes awakened at 14. But everyone around her said to wait on an announcement until her powers stabilized. Marianna asked if that was how it usually went. While she was busy thinking about all sorts of things, the day of the date arrived. She wandered around the town looking at the fascinating statues. A voice told her it was way more impressive up close than from the castle. It was Alexis, dressed in a hat and waistcoat. Of course, the prince's aura was impossible to hide. The statue was of goddess Karine, the water goddess who blessed the kingdom with rain when a drought nearly destroyed it long ago. Her influence remains great, to the point that a prayer festival was held once a month. Marianna commented on how it was her first time seeing it up close, and that Karine had grown. Alexis laughed, telling Marianna the goddess had always been that size. Suddenly there was a thud, and Marianna saw someone had fallen. She rushed to help them up, and saw it was a young girl. She apologized, saying she was in a hurry and tripped. But on closer inspection, Marianna realized she had seen that face before. A woman then apologized, saying she ran off on her own. Marianna told the woman they were fine and it was no problem, and Alexis handed the child her cloth. Realizing it was a cloth for prayer, he asked if she came to pray to the goddess. The child bowed before her mother dragged her away. Marianna said that they were really devout since today was not a prayer festival. Alexis told her that some people came to make private wishes. He wondered what they wanted to wish for. He turned the conversation back to them, asking Marianna if he could hold her hand. Marianna smiled and agreed. They walked through the city, went for dinner, and visited a few shops, eventually coming across the jewelry store Alex always used. Alex told her that it was the one the royal family used, and he asked Marianna if she was sure it was okay, but Marianna wanted to give him something proper too. They were welcomed by the shop assistant, who told him he would have come to the royal castle himself if he had known. Marianna apologized for dropping her formal speech with Alexis, realizing they were in public. But Alexis smiled, telling Marianna he preferred it that way anyway. He asked her if she was fine with that, and Marianna knew that she could not say no to that face, so she told Alexis he wins. The shop assistant then came with a catalog, telling the pair they could let him know if something caught their eye, so Marianna flicked through the pages, loving every single piece. When they left, she apologized for getting too absorbed, agonizing over the design. Alexis smiled, thanking her for taking it so seriously. He said that he could not wait to see it. They asked where they should go next, and Marianna mentioned how she wanted to stop by Anne's shop. It had been forever, and she never really walked down the main street on her own, so she would like to explore more. She saw a stall selling meat on skewers. It looked pretty good, but of course scoffing a stick of meat was not exactly ladylike, but Alexis did not care. He told Marianna they could do whatever she wanted. When Marianna asked if there was anything he wanted to do, Alexis said no, and Marianna soon realized that he must be there for her and her alone. She wished that there was something he was interested in though. So Alexis promised that he would save the places he wanted to go for next time. That way he gets another date with Marianna. Marianna agreed, on the premise that they would do what he wanted to do. So Alexis took her pinky and promised. Of course it was embarrassing, doing a pinky swear in the middle of the street. Their moment was interrupted by a scream. They turned to see Elena running away. Alexis called for Ewan, who told them both to go with him. But he asked Ewan to protect Marianna. Marianna had no idea what was going on, but she saw Alexis run off into what seemed to be danger. She shouted after him that she was going too, but Ewan told her to wait. He explained this was why Alexis was assigned with a guard. It was because he did not want her to encounter any danger. Marianna asked Ewan if he really thought she would lose to some random thugs. Ewan smiled, telling her that her heart was likely not strong enough to be able to hurt people without hesitation. He was not wrong, and Ewan added that Alexis wanted to protect Marianna's heart too. Marianna just did not want to be the kind of person who was weak and could not even help a friend. She could not just sit around being protected anymore, so she asked Ewan to get out of her way. Before Ewan could say another word, Marianna announced she was Marianna Rottenclaw. A member of the Rottenclaw family could not afford to be weak. Ewan laughed, knowing she was always that type of person. Marianna told Ewan to come with her, which he agreed to, but insisted he go first. But Marianna was already miles ahead, and she did not notice them being watched by a cloaked stranger. Elena was ordered to stop running around, and eventually she came to a dead end. She asked the men who were surrounding her what they wanted from her. The men told her to shut up, as Elena held her hands above her head out of fear. But before the men could hurt her, Ewan jumped in front. He told them that they must be really sad to gang up on a girl, before kicking one in the stomach. Marianna rushed over, asking Elena if she was all right. Elena asked Marianna what she was doing in the middle of the action, and Marianna told her how she saw the men chasing her. She asked her if she was hurt. Elena looked at her hands in shock, as Ewan also asked if Elena was okay. He could tell she obviously was not though. Alexis eventually came and told Ewan he must have gotten there quicker as he knew the area better. Ewan told Alexis to punish him how he wanted for ignoring orders, but Alexis told him he not only protected Marianna but he saved Elena, and he could not be prouder of him for that. Alexis turned to Marianna, who apologized for interfering, but Alexis told her not to worry about it. He asked if he could ask Elena why she was being chased. Of course, the alleyway where the attack happened was not the best place to talk, so the group headed to the castle. Marianna stayed by Elena's side and told her it was okay. She was safe now that she was in the castle. Mike Ryger also came, who apologized for barging in, but when he saw Elena crying, he was beyond confused. Alexis called for him, and for all he knew it was over an urgent matter. Elena looked up, seeming happy to see Mike. When everyone settled down, Mike apologized for coming across too strong. Alexis explained that Elena was almost attacked by some thugs. Alexis asked Ewan what the thugs they caught were saying. Ewan told Alexis how his men were questioning them, but nothing so far. They did not know why they attacked Elena or where they came from. Mike told Elena he was sorry, wishing he had stayed by her side, but Elena told Mike it was fine. She added that nobody could predict when stuff like this might happen, so he should not blame himself. Mike looked at Elena with nothing but worry. It was clear he hated seeing her in such a way. Alexis called for everyone to go over what happened, now that everyone was here. He asked Elena why they were chasing her. Elena told him she did not know why. She was just out buying supplies, then she noticed some people giving her weird looks. When she realized they were following her, she got scared and ran. Alexis asked if that meant there was no trigger, and she just found herself being chased. Elena said that she was pretty sure one of them called her a color bearer, something which confused Marianna. Alexis said it could mean this was an attack targeting color bearers with powerful magic, and he asked Elena to stay in the castle for a while along with Mike. Alexis spoke of assigning her a guard, but there would be gaps in coverage at the academy. He told Ewan that he would count on him at those times. Ewan agreed, but Elena held her hand up, mentioning that living in the castle might be a bit much. Trying to function in a place with totally different routines was seriously stressful, and the more she thought about it, Alexis really did everything himself, so Alexis said they could call it magical training for a color bearer. It was then that the girls asked if the timing for announcing the color bearers to the public was all over the place. Originally, once they discovered a color bearer, they were supposed to come to the castle to be educated on it. But in Elena's case, the report came in late. Elena said she had to wait a year after her powers showed up, but Alexis then said they were required to report it the moment it manifested, something which made him drag his hands through his hair. He was involved with Elena's eye awakening from the start and kept it hidden until now. And today they had thugs talking about a color bearer. Alexis wondered if the incident could be connected somehow. Ruin told Alexis he had just gone through the reports from that time and they never got anything. Alexis knew this was probably the Marquise's doing. He asked Elena if she had ever seen Marquise Dolban ever since then. Elena said no, just the first time they met. The Baron did tell her not to be rude to the Marquise though, so he might have been keeping an eye on her. Alexis then suddenly stood up. He told everyone he was only saying this because he trusted them. He warned them to be careful of Marquise Dolban. He did not know if he was directly involved this time, but he was definitely plotting something. From now on, anyone who approached them could be working for the Marquis, so they needed to stay on guard. So Mike and Elena agreed to stick to Alexis's advice. But later that day, Alexis seemed really concerned. Marianna turned to him as they walked through the garden, asking him what he was going to say earlier. Alexis asked if it was obvious and said that he could not hide anything from Marie. He said that what he mentioned before went for them too. In this country, lots of people treat magical powers as sacred, which makes color bearers tempting targets. He told Marie she really needed to be careful. It was hard to know who to trust and who could betray you. But then Marie pulled Alexis into a hug, making his eyes widen. She thanked Alex for worrying about her, but she would be fine. If anything happened, she would come to him. She also told him he was not allowed to do anything reckless. Marie turned to Alexis, telling him her mother told her something long ago, that if it really matters, you should say it yourself. Marianna smiled, asking Alex if there definitely was not anything he wanted to say to her, but he said that was everything. He wished that she would trust him more than her own family, but asking that would be cruel. That night, Marianna brushed her hair on her bed. She thought to herself that Alex was acting pretty weird today. If it were something, his position would not let him say it, and he would have mentioned that. So she guessed it was something that was hard to say out loud. As always, Marianna stopped herself from overthinking. When he was ready to talk, she was sure that she would listen. Rosalia came rushing through, excited to hear the details of Marianna's date with Alexis. The maid fell to the floor, telling Marianna she tried stopping Rosalia, but it was clear that nothing was stopping her. She told Marianna she heard all about the commotion and she discovered that Elena Linton would be staying at the castle temporarily, but Rosalia did not care about all of that. Instead, she wanted to know how Alexis treated her. Marianna awkwardly put her hands up, telling Rosalia it was already bedtime, so they should talk about that another day. But Rosalia told her it would make the perfect bedtime story. Meanwhile, Alexis stayed up late in his office. There was a knock on the door and Ewan told him he really should sleep. He did not want Alexis being weak the next day. But then Alexis said he was being unfair. He told himself everything was too uncertain and used that as an excuse to not share his suspicions with Marie. But he still ended up being controlling because he did not want her relying on anyone but him. Ewan said that until there was proof, Alexis would probably keep acting like this. Alexis told Ewan that he really did know him inside out, but Ewan told him they were childhood friends, even if they were kind of hopeless. He pointed to the pictures on the wall and Alexis said what Marie did earlier, that if it really matters, you should say it yourself. Ewan asked Alexis to repeat what he said, but Alexis told him it was nothing and that he would be going to bed once he finished what he was doing. He slid open his drawer once Ewan had left to see a pack of letters tied together. In the end, Marianna got grilled about every detail of the date, but it was nice remembering how fun it was. And Rosalia stayed with her until morning. The maids apologized once more to Marianna, but she was fine with it. She watched Rosalia, still asleep, get carried away. Then Marianna heard her name. It was Ewan, in John's outfit. He told her that Marquise Dolban's comments the other day bothered him, so he was going to see how things were by himself. Marianna waved him off, asking him to give her regards to her father and stepmother. But then Marianna stopped in her tracks. She had known Ewan, or at least as John, as a servant for quite a while. At least before the magic exhibition, he had already earned everyone's trust at home, which meant Alex did not arrange the disguise just to get a magic stone from her. Was there another reason for his undercover work? She remembered Alexis's words, how you can never know who you can trust and who is going to betray you. Marianna began to sweat. Her father's brainwashing had worn off, but she still had not received any letters from her parents. She knew it would be fine for her to trust them. Marianna thanked Alex for his hard work with his studies. She handed him a basket of cookies she prepared for him. Alexis's mother smiled, saying that if she remembered correctly, her dear mother always checked to see how brown they were, and her father always ended up eating the burnt ones. Back then, she never thought this gentle family could fall apart. When Marianna's mother died, everything went dark. Marianna was devastated, and Alexis pleaded with his mother to tell him what happened. His mother looked down, explaining to Alexis that they called it a carriage accident. But what did she mean by calling it that? Alexis dug further, telling his mother they needed to protect Marianna if this was an assassination. But his mother told him that if he really wanted to protect her, then he must always be calm and composed. She told him to control his emotions so no one could see what he was really feeling. She asked him to promise her that, and then she would tell him. So Alexis pulled himself together and agreed. So his mother told him that according to the thug they caught, it was divine punishment, because she gave birth to a cursed child who defiled the goddess. Alexis wondered what his mother meant, but then he remembered Marianna looking down, ashamed of her eyes. Alexis's eyes widened. He finally got it. The reason Marie was so scared back then. From the moment he met Marie, she had been persecuted for those red eyes, all because of blind faith in a goddess no one could even prove existed. Alexis's mother called his name, and he told her he was fine. But he asked her if Marie and her family knew why the attacker did it. His mother told him no, that she had not told them yet. She knew she would need to tell them eventually, but telling them now when they were already grief-stricken would be too cruel. Alexis asked his mother not to tell Marianna the truth. She was still terrified of being singled out and judged, and finding out her mother died because of her would destroy her. He did not think she would ever recover from that, and he never wanted to see Marie like that. His mother told him he was being selfish, and Alexis agreed, but he wanted to take this secret to his grave. His mother told him he was being stubborn, but then guards rushed through the room and told Alexis and his mother that the king had collapsed. After that, Alexis's father fell seriously ill, and he had to help in running the kingdom while he recovered. It was a time filled with suspicious incidents and interference from other countries. Alexis looked up to see Ewan, who told him he had another letter from Marianna. Alexis told him he would read it later, but Ewan asked if he was going to write back. Alexis explained if he wrote back now he would want to see Marie, and Count Rottenclaw had just lost his wife, so it would be best to leave them in peace. Alexis was also close to finding out who was behind the thugs that killed the Countess. He did not have proof yet, but he could not risk blowing their cover by getting involved with the Rottenclaw family right now. Ewan told Alexis he understood, but he warned him not to overexert himself. Alexis was stunned to hear that the Count had remarried, especially since it had not even been a year since the Countess died. He wondered what could make Count Rottenclaw do that, someone who was such a devoted husband. Giron said that from what he found out, the new wife was friends with the late Countess. Alexis put his hand on his head. He knew there was no point in debating. Something was seriously off about this remarriage, and he wanted to go and see for himself what was going on. So Alexis visited the Count's family house, and the Count welcomed him, his new woman behind him. Alexis apologized for the sudden visit, but he told the Count how he heard about his remarriage and rushed over with a small congratulatory gift. The Count smiled, telling him that was very kind. He called Carissa over, who introduced herself. She explained she was an old friend of Marianna's mother, Isabel, so she wanted to support both of them however she could. Alexis told her the honor was his, but he was still suspicious. Marianna asked Carissa if she had her own child, but she was told that was nothing to worry about. Before Marianna could say another word, the Count snapped at her, telling her Carissa was part of this family now and it was not something for her to meddle in. Marianna apologized, as Alexis was left feeling beyond concerned for Marie. The Count was not the type to raise his voice at Marianna, so why now was he so agitated? When Alexis got back into his carriage, Ewan noticed how pale he looked. Alexis turned to Ewan to tell him there was something he needed him to do for him. With state affairs piling up, he could not watch over Marianna himself, so he sent Ewan undercover to keep an eye on her. Even after Marianna entered the upper division, no connection could be found between the Count's remarriage and the death of his wife. The only news he had of Marianna came from her letters and Ewan's reports. And then when she finally moved up to the upper division, he saw how much she had changed, and he hated himself for keeping his distance all the time. Alexis was visited by the head maid in the early hours of the morning. She told him that they had found a letter outside Marianna's room. There was a spy. Fortunately, she managed to hide it before Marianna noticed. Alexis apologized to the maid for having to ask this of them, but he needed them all to stay alert. Alexis looked at the letter, knowing he could not let Marianna see it, even if she asked. But Marianna was already confused. The maids that morning were frantically scrubbing the hallway. She wondered what that was about. As she wandered through the hallway, she bumped into Elena, who was dressed in an exaggerated frilly gown. She complained about how heavy it was, and if it was really necessary to wear. Marianna smiled, reminding her it was the outfit from the original work. but if they were having a tea party, she thought being cute would make a better impression. She could only hope that this would go well. As they walked, they discussed how they used to hate each other, and everyone probably still thought that they did. If they showed up to a tea party together, would the nobles just tear her apart? Marianna laughed, telling Elena they would never do such a thing, and if there were any misunderstandings, they could clear them up since they were now friends. Elena looked super pleased to hear that, taking hold of Marianna's hands. But then they heard a voice asking if Elena and her sister were friends now. Marianna saw Rosalia, her voice like poison. She asked if it was really true that Elena, the girl who tried to humiliate her at the exhibition, was now her friend. Marianna looked at Rosalia and explained what happened before was resolved, and they had made up. In fact, they were very good friends now. Marianna asked Rosalia if she could look upon Elena as her friend from now on. Rosalia still seemed stricken and jealous, but then Rosalia's mother appeared, apologizing for her daughter. She explained that Rosalia was convinced Elena had taken Marianna from her. She invited both of them into the tea room, which looked lovely. A table filled with treats and tea sat at the center of the room. The queen said she would love it if they could tell her more about them. Marianna was pleased that the tea party worked out. The romantic talk started concentrating on Elena halfway through, which was a bit difficult. Marianna stopped to see one of the maids. She was crying and looked very pale. And suddenly she burst out with an apology. Marianna asked her what was wrong, and the girl explained she was ordered to hide letters addressed to Marianna. She told her she could not keep them from her any longer. But suddenly Alex appeared, stepping in the middle of the maid and Marianna. He called for the guards to arrest the maid, and Marianna shrieked that the maid was only giving her some letters. But it was too late. She had seen that they were from her stepmother, and there were several of them she had never seen before. Marianna asked Alex what was going on, how the maid had told her she was told to hide them. Alex looked down, telling Marianna he had to examine the letters from the count's family beforehand. Marianna asked if that was because he was worried about her, and even if that was the case, he could have still told her. Setting aside letters from her family showing their concern for her was another story. Alexis told her it was not that. He said he was more suspicious of Lady Carissa than her father, and he thought that she was the one manipulating Marianna. But Marianna knew that could not be right. In the original story, the so-called Villainess was manipulated by her father's brainwashing. If that was the case, the cause must lie solely with her father, who had fallen ill. Marianna said that her stepmother always comforted her whenever her father yelled at her, and there was no way she could be behind this. But then she was asked when her father began yelling. Since when, and by whom, was she being brainwashed? Alexis told Marianna he had you investigate Lady Carissa, and her late husband was from a branch of Marquis Dolban's family. Marianna asked if that was the reason they suspected her, but Alexis said no. They had also confirmed meetings between Carissa and the Marquis's steward. Marianna asked Alexis if he had Ewan infiltrate her home beforehand to spy. Alexis denied that, but Marianna knew the truth now. Alexis suspected her family without even telling her. Alexis fell silent. He apologized. He was sorry even if he did it to try to protect Marianna. But Marianna was devastated. She asked Alexis to leave her alone, and she walked away. She wanted to rethink things regarding her father and stepmother on her own. She closed her door and burst into tears. Why could he not just talk to her? She told Elena the whole story, who asked why, even after the week ended, she still could not speak properly with Alexis. Marianna banged her head on the table. Today they needed to craft magic stones, but Marianna was still in a pickle. Elena agreed the letter thing was completely inexcusable, but there was no doubt Alexis did it for Marianna's sake. But regardless, his explanation was poor, which was why Marianna could not accept it and was agonizing over it now. Marianna agreed. She said if she thought about it carefully, she could understand it. Even if he had spoken to her, she could not sneak around like Sir Ewan. She did not have Alex's ability to step back and connect all the dots, and she would probably just panic and confront her family head-on. That was why she fell apart this weekend. She still could not believe that her stepmother was connected to Marquis Dolban. But Alex's face at that moment was the face of someone telling the truth. That was why this was just a childish tantrum. Even though she was powerless, she was just being stubborn because she wanted to be included as an equal. She decided she would apologize properly later and admit she was sulking. Elena gave Marianna a pep talk. She told Marianna the infamous Villainess of the realm did not get to whine, that if she were truly powerless, her story would have ended at the exhibition. But she changed that fate herself. Elena told Marianna she should face Prince Alexis with that same confidence. She told her she was not just a character in a story anymore. Marianna looked up at Elena. It was expected of the original heroine. She was really good at stoking the flames. Elena told Marianna to stop teasing her, but Marianna burst out laughing. She apologized but thanked Elena for her wise words. They decided they would go before lunch ended. Prince Alexis was in his second year, so his classroom was pretty far from theirs. But suddenly she heard a voice calling her name. She looked up to see no one other than her father.